This is
for a free drink from Common Grounds.
This is for a free drink from Common Grounds. Delightful coffee, conversation. The number is 448700.
All right, that was Rhonda. If you guys don't know her, she is incredible. She helps our students. Absolutely incredible. And also, Kelly and Lori Campbell have been helping out and great. And so many awesome people have been helping stuff for today. Yeah. But really, the reason why we're here, it's really on my heart, and it's been on my heart since really last August intensely, that I want so badly to help you guys connect with your team as best we can, and as best I can, and as best we can as a student ministry as a whole, so that you guys are equipped to love and care for your student and to meet their needs where they're at. And so with that, we have Johnny Derouen, who is a professor at Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary, and he has his doctorate in something. This is an incredible guy. That's what the seminar's on today. But no, he's been active in student ministry for over 30 years at multiple churches in, I believe, 3 states. And so he's just going to come and share a little bit of wisdom and have a great time with us. And I'm really excited to hear from you guys what he talks about. There's different things that he brings to the table with his experience. And also he has 2 boys, Ty and Josh. And is that right? Yeah. Is that good? And so without anything else, here is Johnny, and he's going to spend the next few moments with you.
Now, we join the food fight.
The food fight's actually going to be going on. We're going to meet up at 5 o'clock.
So we challenge the winning team. We do.
To a food fight.
We kill one here. Well, I'm excited to be with you. I'm starting a little late. My little boy had a soccer game over here at Hero Passionville, over there and stuff. And so they go back and forth between there and Frisco, back and forth. So they finished at 2:30. I drove my wife back to the Crowley area and got back here, so a little bit late. So I'm going to let me tell you real fast. We're going to do 2 things today. I know our time is short. Come on in, Richard Wooster, Steve Wooster. No Ken Steve Wooster.
We're not.
Okay.
He's in prison.
Oh, is he really?
No,
With the small camera. It's kind of scary. 2 things we're looking at culture. I'm going to tell you why I would take a Saturday afternoon and spend time with you. I think we're the most critical time in the history of our country. At the same time, the most critical time in the history of students, our children, and also for families. We're going to look about the first 30 or 40 minutes on culture, why this is such an important time. We're going to laugh a lot, hey, boring on a Saturday afternoon. And the last 30, 40 minutes we'll look at what are the 10 things from research that your teenage child needs from you. If you're trying to call for you, I hate being bored and give up time for my family. To be with you guys, it's really important to me. It really is. And let me say this real fast to you. Here's why I'm here. I work with youth ministry for 30 years full time. I've been teaching for 4 years, teaching youth ministry. My doctorate is in youth ministry or in adolescent psychology. My undergrad's in biochemistry and microbiology, so I really was going into pathology in the medical field. So I love science deeply, okay? And I get really tired of this generation being lied to. So much, and you also. As a youth minister for years and years, I go to a parent, tell me your name. Is it Glenda? I say, Glenda, love y'all's children. They're great. They're God, they're wonderful. Super. And the parent would say to me, well, thank you for saying that, but you don't live with them. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. I don't. I only see your child what they want me to see of you. That's all that I see. And they'll give me the view of themselves that they want me to see. Now, once in a while, a student will let me know the real person. They strip aside the real that facade. I see the real you. But usually I don't. But you see the real one. If they go to youth camp or a mission trip and they come back home and I think they've been changed forever, great. They go back home and it's a wine, the room's still messy, they still do all kind of wild things around you or whatever. You see the real one. I begin to realize, wow, Father, that's kind of strange. Then I begin to read really odd verses in the Bible. I won't bore you with this, okay? I really won't. But things like Deuteronomy chapter 6, or Joel 1:3, or Psalm 78, 1-8, or Ephesians 6:4-5, or Malachi 4:6, or Psalm 144. You know what those say? All those say that the most important, the primary influencer in the life of a child, especially a youth, is you. And I thought, well, that can't be true. It can't be. Because I was taught in seminary. I was taught in seminary back in the early 80s that when your child turns 13, you become a nerd. You become stupid now. Remember Mark Twain? He said, when I was 14, I couldn't believe how ignorant my father was. And when I turned 21, I couldn't believe how much he'd learned in 7 years. And I kept thinking, well, but all that I see, all the movies, Back to the Future, the parents are always nerds. The teenager always saves the day. Always. And I was trained to believe that you need me to come alongside of you as a youth minister and to do your job for you. Okay? Or to be even with you in raising your child. And then I began to read God's Word. But God's Word didn't say that. But God's Word can't be true here. Because it doesn't match what I see or thought I saw. So for my PhD, my doctorate, my dissertation was on parental influence in adolescence. And y'all, I had to read thousands and thousands of research articles, secular and Christian both, on influence of parents on adolescents. You know what I found out? Not 90%, not 95%, and not 99%. I don't care what you think or what your child seems to be like around you. But every doggone research that I read, secular and Christian both, 100%. So there was no greater influence in the life of an adolescent than their parents. And I thought, whoa. And then I began to read a little further, some strange. Here's why I'm here. I want you to understand how critical you are in the life of your teenage child at this most critical time, which you'll see just in a few moments. What is happening to this generation? And I hope it scares the pants off of you. And you'll be like, God, whatever it takes, I want to be that parent for my child. You only have 6 years. It's all you got. And they're gone. Okay? 6 years, and they're out of here. But everything I read showed me that there's no greater influence. Yeah, I struggled real hard with that. I really did. And so as I began to look more and more and read more and more, I found out some things are so strange. They did a huge research study on discipleship a couple of years ago. Phenomenal. And they found two things out. Discipleship occurs best in the context of relationships. The better you know somebody, the better they're going to really let you disciple them. The better I'm going to be honest. Hey, I'm not sure I believe this is true. How do you know this? If I really know you, I would trust you to doubt. Okay? But no, I'm going to be guarded. Very guarded. Okay? Ready for this? Blow your way. They discovered that the average teenager from 7th through 12th grade spends 108 hours per week at home. They spend on the average 36 hours per week at school or school activities. They spend on the average 2 to 3 hours per week at church. So now you tell me, who has the best opportunity to know their child, to know that child, and to touch that child? You. I mean, oh my goodness, Father, maybe I'm doing youth ministry wrong. Maybe there's a value that you never even grasp at all. Okay, listen close to this. There's a danger with this, extreme danger. Just like I said, no one has a better chance to know your child than you do. You know when they're lying to you, when they tell you the truth. Do you know that? Some of you moms, I can sense it. You can feel it, Dads are a little more off base than they are. You'll see it in a few moments. But you know it, okay? No one, but ready for this? It's going to scare you. Flip it around. No one has a better chance of knowing you than them. No one. They know when you're genuine and when you're faking. Okay, look me in the eye. This is critical. They discovered this. When a child graduates high school, goes on into adulthood, only 6% of them, only 6% of all the children who graduate high school and go into adulthood, only 6% will ever adopt a different spiritual life than their parents. Not shock you? Now, before you say, yeah, it doesn't mean if you go to church, they will. It doesn't mean if you're a good moral person, they will be moral. It doesn't mean if you don't drink, they won't drink. What I said was a spiritual life, right? That means they're living with you. They're going to pick up what is genuinely real about you. If your walk with God is fresh and real, not that you're a good Baptist, okay, but that you really love Jesus Christ and your walk with Him is sincere and it's real and it's genuine. You spend time in your Word. They see you. They hear you pray. They watch what you value. They watch what you spend your time on. They're going to pick up what really matters to you. And they're going to adopt that as in their own life. What's going to be really weird? If you go to church every Sunday, you tithe, whatever you do, you're a good moral person, but your walk with God is not fresh in here, they're going to pick up on this. And they're going to live out what you are inside. They're going to pull out and live it outside. So that means they won't look at you all. They'll live who you really want inside. I'm going, oh my goodness, Lord, please, whatever you can do, let my son know that I'm not perfect. I make lots of mistakes, but I really do love Jesus. I really am sincere. I'm not perfect in any way. So that's why I'm here, because you're critical at the most critical time of life. Okay? Let me tell you one more thing. We got to go on and laugh a little bit, because I don't want to get you sad. Because I'm real excited about this generation. I think I get a little scared after 30 some odd years of youth ministry. Okay, this may be the generation that God has chosen to bring spiritual awakening back into our world. But if it is a generation, they're going to pay a heavy cost. Every generation that God uses will pay a heavy cost. So as we move into, now I'll get off all this, so we'll get into some more critical issues in a few moments. But if they are, they're going to pay a cost. Okay, I'm not sure you know this already, but did you know for the first time in history, this generation, 1/3, these are called millennials, which they were born from 82 to the present, they're millennials, or called echo boomers, okay? This generation has already lost 1/3 of their generation to death already. Accidents, suicide, diseases, abortions, add them all together, 1/3 of this generation is already dead. Okay? That's a lot of people. It's the most in the history of our world for one generation, ever before they even barely reach adulthood. Okay? So my feeling is something's coming after it. There's something important about this generation. I'll give you a few quick facts, and now one more thing we'll jump into. Ready? I know I get so pumped. Strauss and Howe are two non-Christian trend trackers. They're really very smart men. Okay? They have a lot of books out, but one book called The Millennials. What they did, they tracked trends across our country to see, is there anything that happens in our country ever so often? It's just a trend, it recurs over and over again. They found a pretty good number of trends, but one trend blew me away. They discovered this: every 4th generation of teenagers, that generation of teenagers ushers into our country a major social, political, economic, and spiritual upheaval, a massive change in our country. Every 4th generation. Guess what generation this one is? The 16th. If trends follow suit, if it does, then this generation, your children, will usher into our country a major social, political, economic, and spiritual upheaval. Will it be good or bad? I have no clue. But guess who's the best place to impact that? You and I. I have a son who's 25 years old. He was born the very first year of the millennials. I have another son who's just turned 11. He's a 5th grader. Okay? So he's kind of on the end of the millennials, right in the middle. This is phenomenal. So understand, isn't that pretty scary to you? Okay? Go back a little more. Let's go back biblically speaking. So you guys who love the Lord deeply, like I really do too. Biblically speaking, the generations that God used to impact the world, those generations paid a heavy cost. For example, imagine if you were born to be a peer of Moses. Wouldn't that be cool? You were the generation that God chooses to lead the people out of bondage. That is cool. You go to school with Moses. You get to see them all. Wouldn't it be great to be the same age as Moses, have him come to your house tonight? Did that happen? Did you be a peer of Moses? Why? Why could not that have happened? What happened to the generation of Moses? They were slaughtered. All of them. That's why Moses put a little basket in the bulrushes and the Pharaoh's daughter found him. They were all killed. To be born in the generation that God chose to bring out the deliverer of Israel cost you your life. You want to pay that? I'm not sure I do. No. How about be born at the same time and to be a peer of the Messiah? You are the generation that God chooses to come down into and to be born with. And you were a keeper, and you blocked one of Jesus' goals. You blocked one of his dunk shots. Okay? He came to your house in the night. You went to school with him. You double dated, which he wouldn't date probably, but he came with you. Wouldn't that be cool to be a peer of Jesus? Could that have happened? No. They were all slaughtered too, weren't they? So to be chosen by God, to be the generation that the Messiah comes out of, would have cost you your life. If you were a male. Females, you would have lived. But all the boys would be dead because they were all killed. That's why I remember, take Jesus and go where? Go to Egypt. Get out of here now and be killed. Okay? Understand this. If your children are going to be used by God to impact the world, it may cost them a lot. Maybe their life, probably not. Okay? But it will cost them a whole lot. They face an enemy that is so powerful. This enemy he's described as being what? It's a D word. A deceiver. right? Okay, as we move into culture in a few moments and give you a perception of today's generation, okay, and how important you are to them, and why God put you where you're at. So you didn't say, oh, I'll tell you what, doctor, I take that DNA there of mine, and that DNA there, and this in here, and that over there, and this is my spouse, and hers, and whatever, and put them together, and I want this child. You didn't make that, did you? You just loved your wife, loved your husband, okay, God mixed the DNA together, and out comes who you have for a child. Okay, that was wild. You had no choice. That means God selected you and your child. Listen close. This will blow you away. This is why I love microbiology and biochemistry, especially biochemistry. I get so excited to do it. Now, then we're going to laugh. Can you go a little further? Hubert Yockey is a non-Christian biochemist. He came out with a research, and it was publicized in the Spring Journal of Theoretical Biology, spring 1998. Okay. It has not been read again until about 6 years ago when Josh McDowell and then Charles Thaxton used his quotes in some of their books that they wrote. Okay. Ready? You know what he said? Yockey says this, it blew me away. I quote him. We now know the DNA protein configuration of your life. Now, we know your protein, your DNA, the way it's configured is unique, right? It will never exist again. When you die, it's gone forever, never to come again. If they can clone you one day, they can't clone the way your protein is configured. Not possible. There's no way. Okay? So when you die, who you are will never exist again. Never. Okay? Let's go back to Yockey. He says this, we now know that the DNA protein configuration of your life is a linguistic message. It is not like a message. It's not similar to a message. It is a linguistic message. And we know that all linguistic messages can only be written by intelligence. Thus, intelligent design re-enters biology. Close quote. Is that not amazing to you? He has taken what? He is scientifically paraphrasing Psalm 109. In your mother's womb, God has formed and fashioned you. Now listen close. Here's what I mean by so cool. You and I are, especially you with your own child. What if your DNA, your protein was configured, if it's a message from someone of intelligence? Who's the intelligence? Okay, God. And that's what we choose to believe. That's why I feel strongly. Go back. What does your DNA, protein, the way it's configured, if it's a message, what is that message telling you? What does your DNA, protein, the way it's configured, tell you? It tells you almost everything that you will become like biologically, doesn't it? How tall you will get, how short you will be. You can lie down on the table, they can stretch you till the cows come home, and you're not going to increase your height more than 1/4 of an inch. That's about it. Okay. Will you lose your hair like you and I do? Okay. Or will you keep your hair like you do? That's why I don't like you. You have hair. Will your eyes be blue? Will they be gray? Will they be green? Will I have light skin, dark skin? Will I have legs that run fast? Will I have vocal cords that sing well? Will my mind think spatially, mathematically, artistically, mechanically? Okay. Will I have bone density that is so dense I can carry great muscle weight to be a lineman or a wrestler? Okay. Will I have eyes that see enough to be a pilot? It tells me all that I'll be like, when biologically speaking. Okay, except for radiation or if the mother smoked or drugs. That'll affect it. But beyond that, it tells me almost everything I will be like biology doesn't. Okay? I just get really mad at God. God, if you're so perfect, then why are people born birth defects? Why is there sickle cell anemia? Why are there fibromyalgia? Why is there breast cancer? Okay? And God's going, because I put it there. It's part of my plan for that person's life. Is that not wild? Let's go back. Okay, so what is God saying? I have put inside of your DNA everything that you will need to accomplish your mission on this planet. I made you the way you think, the color of your skin, the way you act, your personality, all that you are, all your gifts I gave to you. Because those gifts are exactly what you need to fulfill your specific purpose on this planet. Is that not exciting? I'm going, yeah, all right. And you and I are in the best place to help our children realize, here are your gifts, here are your passions. Match your gifts with your passions, and you discover your specific purpose on this planet. And you're in the best place to do that. Yeah, me and Lori and Rhonda and Eric and Stephen come alongside of you, okay, to help you, but you're the main person. You live with those children. You watch them. You should be a student of your child's constructive interests. Isn't it critical? Okay. Last thing I'll tell you about this, and we're going to move on. I can spend hours on why this is critical time for life. So one more thing about students today. We discovered about 5 years ago when Harvard University produced a brand new MRI brain scan. Okay? When they were able to map the human brain. I mean, you know this already. Okay? And they discovered a lot of stuff. When they found out that we didn't know until 5 years ago that your prefrontal cortex is part of your brain here, okay, the part that takes memories, puts them in logical order, okay, it makes you think critically. We thought that that part of your brain was fully developed at age 11. We discovered about 4 or 5 years ago that's not true. This part of your brain doesn't start developing until age 11. It's not finished until about 19 or 20 years of age. What that means is, because it means a lot of things, but one thing really critical, the things that your child sees, hears, and does during the teenage years are burned on his memory deeper than any other time in their lives. That's why when you are driving down the road in your car and there's certain songs on the radio, okay, and it can take you right back into your high school years like that. A smell, oh God, I smell the atomic bomb when I were in traffic, play football, you know, that you rub into your arms, but sore muscles. I mean, if your back is grass, or that's always good memories, but man, something about the high school years, and the older you get, the more vivid they become. I remember looking at laughing. I don't want to hope nobody's here. Okay. In the paper they had, I think about 2 years ago or a year ago, they had an article about when Arlington High School, the Colts won the state championship in football. And they interviewed all these men who played football on that team. And I laughed because about 7 of them said, that was the highlight of my life. I kept thinking, your high school senior year was the highlight of your life. How sad is that? But the memories of those years are so vivid to them. And it is to us too. You know, at that time you missed the layup, or dropped the pass, or caught the pass, or whatever, dropped the baton, whatever is vivid. Okay? What that means is what occurs in the life of your child in those years are just absolutely important. It's worth the investment of 6 years of your life, because you won't ever get it again. Not repeat. And you know, if you have a child that's ever grown up and gone to college or the military or the workforce, remember if you had that, when you drove your child to that university and you dropped them off, and you're driving away and you wave bye to them. My heart broke a lot more than their high school diploma. I realized this, when he comes back home in 3 months, he'll still love me. I'm still his dad, but he won't be the same ever again. He's changed. He's lived 3 months with total freedom. Never the same again. That part of his life is gone. Now he's an adult. Okay? It's a little bit different when you raise an adult than you a child. My heart broke. I was happy for him and proud of him, but also broke. Guys, your time is short. It's not much time. Okay, stand up real fast. I'm not going to bear nothing stupid. I'm not going to bear it. Don't make it all in here. Stand up. This is how smart you are. Supposedly, those in Mansfield, Orange area are very intelligent compared to DFW. Okay? This seems true. Close your eyes. Don't copy anybody else. Don't do what anybody else is doing. Just point. Just point to the direction that you think north is. Point to the north and hold it. Okay? Don't copy anybody else. Okay? Just point to where you think north is. And just hold it for a second. Everybody's got it? Okay, now open your eyes, look around. Well, I understand your north is this way. I'm correct. Now, why do I ask you that? Here's why. Your perspective is critically important, right? If Lori runs in here and she says, listen, y'all, there's a tornado about 1 mile coming right towards this building. It's going to be in about 5 minutes. Your only hope of salvation and escape is to run 100 yards to the north. And you think north is that way? That way you're dead, that way you're dead, that way you're in real trouble. There's one where you can go with hopes of saving. Okay, so your perspective really, really matters, doesn't it? My little boy came downstairs about a year ago. Oh my goodness, it's so funny. He's better listen there. And I walked downstairs, he was naked. Peeing in the cat litter box. He was 10 then. I said, Todd, what are you doing? And he goes, Dad, I just want to see what it felt like. I said, well, how's it feel? And he goes, no big deal. I was like, come back here and cover it up. Then he comes down, this past year we were driving a ball game in Frisco, this past June. Come back from Frisco, and out of the clear blue sky, he just goes, Dad, what's PMS? What did you say? So what's PMS? I said, where'd you get that word from? And I heard at school about a week ago, before school ended. I went, okay, that's what I turned my wife and this is for years. And she says it's a woman's disease. I said, no, it's not, honey, it's not a disease. I'm trying to explain to him what it was. Well, he said, okay, thanks, Dad. Well, the next day, our 2 dogs got in fights, a girl and a boy dog, we were fighting. And the girl dog was nipping at Okay, this is, now you've seen beautiful pictures of like athletes or scenery with a motivational phrase underneath them, right? Okay, this is not that. Okay, this is demotivation. Great pictures, great stuff, but the phrases aren't what you're used to seeing with those kind of pictures. Okay, it's a different perspective. So I'm ready.
Videos?
Can we turn the lights off in front? Just for a second.
Is this the videos?
Yeah, demotivation. It's called demotivation. It was right on this one right here, I think.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, that's it.
There we go.
Thank you so much. Now, there'll be a picture of the phrase at the bottom. Okay? And I love these. This is, oh, thank you. Oh, this is great. Yes, no, this is great. If I get any more caffeine, I'll bounce off the wall. I get too excited.
Come on.
Okay, just keep going. There you go. One more.
It's coming.
You just push dance, it'll dance.
Oh, I know, but I'm trying to get the projector to come up.
There you go. Okay, you see, this is called the demotion series. You just don't care anymore. Okay, the first one. Okay, you see on both sides?
There we go.
You are brilliant. I would not, I'm not good at all text. I'm at 1996. Okay, hit it. First one, defeat. For every winner, there are dozens of losers. Odds are you win. Next one, stupidity. Quitters never win, winners never quit. But those who never win and never quit are idiots. Next one, failure. When you're best, this isn't good enough. Awful. Next one, futility. You'll always miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And, statistically speaking, 90% of the shots that you do. Next one. I love this one. Ineptitude. If you can't learn to do something well, learn to enjoy doing it poorly. Next, losing. If at first you don't succeed, failure may be your start. Next one. Mediocrity. It takes a lot less time, and most people will notice the difference until it's too late. Which is true. Next one. Oh, this is the worst of all. Mistakes. It could be that the purpose of your life is only to serve as a warning to others. Okay, next one. Pessimism. Every dark cloud has a silver lining, but lightning kills hundreds of people each year. Next one. Procrastination. Hard work often pays off at the time, but laziness always pays off now. And the next one is acting. All pain is gain. Thank you, Lord. I have a bunch of these, and I have another series that has a big giant bear, and he's leaning over, he's in the middle of a stream, I guess somewhere in Washington, Oregon, Montana area, and these salmon are spawning, so they're jumping upstream, and he's standing with his mouth open, and this salmon has jumped right into his mouth. It's like this, and it's inside his mouth, the salmon is, and the line says, sometimes the journey of a lifetime ends in tragedy. But you enjoy seeing that a little bit. I gave you some handouts. Let's say it real fast. Let's laugh a little bit and jump into it, see how smart you are. One is called things you'd rather not hear during surgery. Okay, you got that? Did I give you one also on being a man or woman? Okay. Surgery first, and we'll laugh and go on. Okay. 5 o'clock, right, Will? 5 o'clock? Okay, good. Okay. Here's some things you're not hearing during surgery. Better say that, we'll leave it for the autopsies. Okay, now stop. How many of you have ever had surgery where they put you under anesthesia? Raise your hand. You've had anesthesia. Okay. Imagine you're almost going under, you're almost gone, and you hear the doctor say these things. Number 2, someone called a janitor, we're going to need a mom. This one, accept the sacrifice, oh great Lord of darkness. Bo, come out of that thing, bad dog. Wait a minute. If this is a spleen, then what's that? Hand me that thingy. Oh no, I just lost my Rolex. Oops. Hey, has anyone ever survived iron leaders at the soda? You know there's big money in kidneys. Shoot, this guy's got 2 of them. Everybody stand back, lost my contact lenses. Hey, could you tell that thing from thumping? It's throwing my concentration off. I hate it when they're missing stuff in here. It's cool. That can be like pitch. I love that one. I wish I got my glasses. Well, folks, this will be an experiment for all of us. Sterile Shamerl, the floor's clean, right? This is the best of all. What do you mean it wasn't in for a sex change? And now we remove the sex brain and place it in the body of the ape. And the other one is why it's good to be a man. Now, I have one on women also. When I come again one day, I'll bring that back to you guys for a girl. And they're both funny and they're both equal. Here's why it's good to be a man And you tell me that these things are not, well, one of them is not true, I don't think. The rest of them are pretty true. Then be a man. Number one, your last name stays put. The garage is all yours. Wedding plans take care of themselves. Chocolate is another snack. You wear a white t-shirt to a water park. Car mechanics tell you the truth. You care less if someone knows your new haircut. The world is your urinal. This is my wife, it is. You never have to drive to the gas station because this was just too icky looking. That character. Wedding dress, $5,000. Touchdown, $100. Occasional, well-rendered belts is practically expected. New shoes don't cut, blister, or mangle your feet. One mood all the time. Now, hey, does your husband have moods?
Yes.
This is what we're all moody. We really are. It's strange. Okay. Phone conversations are over in 30 seconds flat. You know something about tanks? A 5-day vacation requires only one suitcase. You can open all your own jars. You can kill your own food. You get extra credit for the slightest act of thoughtfulness. Honey, you washed your dish. Thank you very much for that. You washed your clothes. Your underwear is 65 which is true. Everything on your face stays your color. When you see us, that's how we always look, right? Richard, we don't change. But your wife will change between now and tomorrow morning. It's just not she won't, I know. She's great. You can quietly enjoy a car ride in the passenger seat. 3 pairs of shoes are more than enough. And this is so true. You can quietly watch a game with your buddy for hours without ever thinking he's mad at you. You don't root on others' desserts. Honey, would you like some dessert? Oh, no, I'll say a bite of yours. Okay, a hard one, and she's having it. You're not expected to know the names of more than 5 colors. You have to stop and think which way to turn that on a boat. You're unable to see wrinkles in your clothes, which is true. Honey, it's so wrinkled. Oh, goodness, I don't ever see it. You don't have to shave below your neck. Your belly hides your big hips, which is true for us. One wallet, 1 pair of shoes, 1 color, all season. You can do your nails with a pocket knife or your teeth. You have freedom of choice concerning growing a mustache. And shopping can be accomplished with 18 relatives on December 24th and 45th. Now, time is going quick. I want to take the next 15 minutes and walk with you just a quick glance at culture. Okay? And then we'll come back and look at the 10 things that your child needs from you as an adolescent teenager in this day and time. Did I scare your head from all of okay. I would have been funny. I put some more jokes or some other stories. Okay, there's a sheet called a culture quiz. Pull it out for a second. Okay? Because of time's sake, I'm going to spend a little time at the very beginning, give you just the blanks until the very end. Okay? I think, do we have that? Do we do that on the PowerPoint? Oh, good. Okay. Now, look at the first. Look at Roman number 1. Look at number 2. Okay. Well, first, okay. We know now that there are more teens now than ever before. Teens will keep growing in population numbers until the year 2010. They're going to level off, begin to drop off again. Okay. Next slide. Okay. The percentage of Bible-believing Christians are dropping off drastically. In your little handout, I give you 4 generations. The World War II generation of those who were born 1947 to the back. If you were born or your parents were born in that generation, okay, go ahead and click thing. 65% of their generation believes the Bible is true. Okay, they trust God's word is true, and they claim to be a Christian. If you were born between the years 1948 and about 1966, 66, you were a baby boomer. Okay, that's my generation. Anybody else here a baby boomer? Okay. We're baby boomers. Our generation is 35%. Okay, of our generation believes the Bible to be true and claims to be a Christian. Okay. The next one are called Gen Xers. If you were born from 1967 to about 1981, you're at 16% Bible-believing Christians. Okay. The Bible to be true and be a Christian. If you were born 1982 to the present, you're a millennial or an equitable boomer, and you are at 4%. Okay. That is your children. Okay, now you see, if trends follow suit and keep going, if God doesn't stop and do something very drastic, the next generation, your children's children, your grandfather and grandmother years, it will be below 1%. Now you're saying, well, who cares? Let me tell you why this is critically important. Out of those 4 generations, which one of those four would you think runs our country? They're the age of the major politicians, like the President of the United States. They run Viacom, Rupert Murdoch, Time Warner. You know, they run Hollywood, the media. Which ones would you choose? Okay, Jeanette? Baby boomers. How far? You know, look at people like George Bush Jr. and Condoleezza Rice and the guys who run. I can just go on forever on this, but pretty much now we're on the way out. Okay, so right now is the very end of our running the country. Question to ask you: with 35% Bible believers, how good a job have we done with the morality of our country? Wonderful job, haven't we? We have done a good. It's nicer and better today than it was 20 years ago.
I have a question.
It's not. Yes.
Do you think that, because the millennials are so much younger and the Generation X is younger, and it seems the World War II obviously is older, do you think it's a wiser, older thing that grows with them?
Okay, good question. Listen to that. Is it wiser or older? Will they get better? Will the 4 percentile rise? Okay. Here's what I want to ask you. Okay, listen close. That's a great question. If the morality of our country at this percentile, okay, is what it is today, and you know there are TV shows on primetime television that 10 years ago, that TV show would be an R-rated movie. Okay, but now it's prime time. There are no rules in prime time. There's nothing to stop complete hardcore sex on primetime television. The only thing stopping them is you and I. That's it. Okay, they will push the envelope if it makes money. That's another story. Okay, it's not marketing. Okay, they're going to push it. The PET, which is less later on, I'll show you. Anyway, they said that since the last 8 years, the number of sexual activity on our television, prime time only, has doubled. There is a sexual act outside of marriage every 6.7 minutes on prime time television. The worst is Fox, and the best is the, what's the WB? Is it CW?
33?
CW. Yeah, on network television. They have 9.8. Fox has 4.7. Sexual activity outside of marriage every 4.7 minutes. Okay, your question, go back to it. Will they get better? Okay, we don't know that, but we know this. The average age for, excuse me, let me rephrase that. 88% of the people who become a Christian do so by age 18. 97% of those who become a Christian do so by age 21. When they pass 21 years of age, only 3% of that population will ever become a Christian. Okay? So, if this right here is going to change, it has to do so unless the trends are stopped, and I hope they are. I'm praying for that, okay? But if trends follow suit, which we know, this is from George Gallup, where it came from, that means we only have till 21 years of age to reach this generation. Then the best we can hope for is a change from 4% to what? 7. That's it. And that's still not even half of Gen Xers. And they're going to step up in about 5 years and take over about 5 years. So does it? No, it doesn't. Well, yes, it does if it happened before 2021. Unless a major revival hits our country, it's not going to change much. As you see, we are, these guys have been at this time slot for a long time, and we've never gotten close to them, and we're already almost where they're at now. It's scary. So yes and no. Now let's go back to this. If you look at these three ages, if you had to choose any age in the world, any age, like 13, 27, 32, 3, what is the biggest number in the biggest population in our country? Which age would you choose? Not this generation, but an actual age.
16.
Top 3, 16 is number 1. More than any other age in our country. Number 2, 15. Number 3, 62. Top ages in our country. So wherever these go, as they age, as they go, they're going to pretty much decide what happens, right? By population vote alone. People are going to court these two ages, right? How much time do we have before this age group, the biggest in our country, reaches 21, and the critical time to become a Christian? About how long? Yeah. About 5 to 6 years is our window. Where are these kids at? They're with you. They're your children. Or below this, or right above this. So I think this is a critical time. We're just spend hours here, but we got to go on. Okay, it's a time span. But so much I want to do with you. So much more I want to do. We got to go on. Okay. Let me fill some blessing for you and show you one more thing real quickly, and then we'll jump on. Okay. Look on your paper and listen to this. Okay, hit next slide. An average of 4 million people exit the 18-year-old age span every year. Remember, 8 88% of those who become a Christian until age 18. Next time. Youth are saturated. Let's hit it. Teens listen to 54 hours of radio per week. So the blanket is 54 hours. I'm doing this real fast. I want to go to the answers real quick. We got 5 minutes left. 40% of the top selling CDs contain sexual content that's pretty but very explicit. Okay. Now I want you to see what they're being swamped with. Your children. Okay. It's going to scare you. Okay. 20% or 1/4 of all teen targeted radio segments contain sexual content. Okay. Next one. Branding, what you like by age 13, you will buy the rest of your life. They say that the age 13 is the main age to brand somebody, which means if I can get them to like a certain style of music, a certain kind of clothing, a certain hairstyle, they will show preference for that style or that brand name for the rest of their life. They say, I know that there are exceptions here, they say that your favorite style of music is the style you enjoy the most during your high school years. That you may get other styles you like, but it stays your favorite style. Also the style of movies you enjoy the most. Like, I grew up on John Wayne. I'm still a John Wayne fan. If he's not a believer, I think God's going to make an instance for him. I know John Wayne a whole lot. So, what does this mean? If this is the age that they want you to settle in what you buy, which age groups then are they coming after when it comes to media? 11, 12, 13 years old. 5th, 6th, 7th graders coming after them. Just look. Hey, you know what? No, not last weekend, but 2 weeks ago, the #1 movie in the country among teenagers was what? Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus, who's just turned 15 years of age. You know, now I love her, and I do. There's like a moment with her. I'm just saying, it's a powerful segment that they're shooting after. Clearly, I can't think of another time in history that they had a movie that was geared towards 11, 12, and 13, 14 girls, like that one really is, or like she is. Another one here. Next one. Primetime television had 15,000 sexual references in 2006. That's primetime television, not reruns, 7 to 9. Okay, that's no big deal. Okay, next one. Okay, ready for number 4. First bullet. The average teen spends 3 to 4 hours per day watching television. It's a lot. Next one. 6.7 scenes per hour include sexual topics on all primetime television. Okay, the next one. MTV is the most watched TV network with more than 3,000 soft porn images every week. What is soft porn, hard porn? I mean, soft porn is nudity. Hard porn is actually viewing the sexual act. Okay, you actually viewing the real deal. Okay, so this is going to be serious in the second year. Next bullet. Teens who watch a lot of sexualized programming, primetime television, are twice as likely to engage in sexual intercourse themselves. Okay, next one. The average age of first-time sex is 15.8 years old. That's the average first time they have sex. That's intercourse. Okay. Next bullet. The average length of first sexual relationship is 3 to 8 months, which means they meet somebody at the beginning of the day. The average first-time sexual relationship is within 3 to 8 months when they first begin dating. It was pretty scary. Next bullet. 24% of teens report having sex during the first month of a relationship. Just met them the first month they have sex. Pretty scary. I know your kids are better than that, but that's what seems okay. Next bullet. 16.7% of teens who took virginity pledges became sexually active. That's from 04. That's pretty old, but still it's pretty scary. Next bullet. This is interesting. Sexual intercourse among teens has declined from 91 to 03. Okay? But oral sex has increased. Over 55% of all juniors said that they have had oral sex. That includes your youth program. That means over half of them, you don't have to already have that form of sex. Okay. Now, that's all okay. That's no bad. That's pretty normal. Okay. Here's what's different about this culture. This culture is the first one to have porn pornography, which means they can go into their room in privacy, click on pornography, choose it, and watch it. 10 years ago, maybe 15, if you and I wanted to buy pornography or look at it, what do we have to do? Find the little bookstore, go over to Kennedale, that little thing I watched in trouble in the news. Okay. Walk into the store, look through whatever you're going to buy, pick it up, walk to the counter, put it on the counter, and pay for it. It can be very embarrassing if you're a deep. Okay. Yeah. Worse if you're a minister. Okay. But you had to step out and actually, somebody can see your license, your car, you took chances. Not anymore. You can do it and never be caught in your own home unless somebody takes your heart and let's do it. Okay. And it's pretty scary. So they're the first one. The average age of internet porn exposure is 11 years old. That means they have not spam. They have point and click. They saw what they wanted. They went into it, they pointed, and they chose to look at that. The average age of exposure is 11 years old. When is Brandon? 13? Okay, next bullet. The largest consumer of internet pornography is young people aged 12 to 17. I can tell you stories upon stories that would shock you to death about kids I've dealt with in the last 3 years who are so. The one guy that was so, he was a junior at Crowley High School. Great football player, phenomenal. His mom and dad were not members of our church. He came, became a Christian, got involved. His dad called me one day. He'd been arrested. He'd been stealing credit card numbers. He worked for Petco, and using those credit card numbers to buy pornography. So Petco, thank goodness, didn't prosecute. Said, you'll pay back the money you owe, then we won't prosecute. So they did that. Okay? So no police record. Okay? His dad goes, what do I do? I said, look me in the eyes and close. Your son's a problem. You will see in a few moments how serious it really is. He said, I'm just going to give you a warning. If you love your son, get rid of your computer in your house right now. Use your office computer. Don't have one in the home anymore until he can overcome this. It's going to destroy him. The dad looks me in the eyes and says, I can't do that. I said, why? Do you need it for your business? No. I said, then why? He says, because I look at property also, and I'm not going to get my own. I said, okay. Call me at help. Within 6 months, he called me again. His son in charge $6,000 on his dad's credit card for pornography. Unreal. Ended the mom and dad divorce, and the son's out of Louisiana. He's got some counseling. He's doing fine now. I'm just seeing here and doing good, but the family's been destroyed. Okay, next one. Okay. The porn industry is heavily focused on attracting 12 to 17-year-olds to ensure lifetime addiction. Okay. What I'm going to show you next. Okay, what's one more? 80% of 15 to 17-year-olds have had multiple hardcore porn exposures. Okay? That means 80% of the kids in your church have viewed hardcore pornography multiple times. Now listen close, I'm going to tell you, this is critical. I know we got to go on. Okay? I want to scare you enough to get on your knees praying for your children and for this generation and for yourself. Okay? We're going to look at it in a few moments. Okay? So we got to go on to this. It's worth it now. Judith Reisman is a neuroscientist. Okay? The U.S. Senate asked her in 2004, would you do a study of the effects of pornography on our country? So she went on and said, it's not Christian. This is completely secular. Okay? She did a huge study. She is the one who helped design the new MRI brain scans. So she's a real pioneer in neuroscience. She's a phenomenal lady. She did her study, came back and reported, I think, November the 18th, 2004, to the Senate Subcommittee on Pornography. I gave you on your paper just a quote from her, a few quotes. Okay, I think you can put one more, I think it's the next one. Look on your page. Okay, look what she says. She says this: porno images imprint and alter the brain, triggering an instant, involuntary, but lasting biochemical memory trail, overriding the cognitive. Look at me. You know what that means? She says that whenever you view pornography, your body releases what's called endorphins. Okay? An endorphin or an acetylene. Those are part of their chemicals that whenever you're working out or something, or running or bike riding, or you're having, whatever you're reading a book, whatever you love to do, your body says what's called endorphins, and they go to your brain and they make you feel good. It's making you feel good. They're great to have. Okay, but these are different. She calls them erototoxins. Okay, endorphins. They go to your brain and they override the cognitive, which means your ability to rationally think, to make good, clear decisions. When you're looking at pornography or a part of that world, even for a short amount of time, it overrides your ability to think rationally. You will do things that you wouldn't do if you thought about it. An affair on your spouse. You take a chance of getting somebody pregnant, getting a disease, ruining your marriage, losing your family, losing your children's respect, losing your job. That's how powerful these endorphins are. They will override your ability to think rationally. Now, you and I are adults. That's hard for us too. It doesn't to us. But imagine for your kid, just now being to use this part of your brain, knowing that whatever's burned on your brain at 13, 12, 14 is burned deeper than at any other time in your life. Okay? What she says here, go a little further. Once new neurochemical pathways are established, they are difficult to or impossible to delete. These images cause secretion of sex hormones, that's sort of endorphins. They trigger excitatory transmitters that produce non-rational and voluntary reaction, deeply embedded media erotic fantasies. In 0.3 of a second, a visual image passes from the eye to the brain, and the brain is structurally changed and memories created. That not scary you? It terrifies me. When she mapped the brain of adults who had viewed pornography, more than a few times, a lot in their lives. What she found blew me away. This is secular. Their brain was physically the same shape, the same physical makeup as people who were hooked on heroin or cocaine. It had the exact same effect on the brain physically. I'm going, oh my goodness. Y'all, I don't care what you think. I want to do the best I can to protect my children. There's no way on God's earth to get a computer in their bedroom. There ain't no way. There ain't no way. Now, can I tell you one thing? You may think you're smart and put a filter on your computer. It is so easy to get around. A filter is nothing if your child's pretty smart. They can get around a filter in New York minute. Makes it harder? Yes. May buy you the time for you to walk into the room and go, what are you doing? Now, I have no problem using my computer. If it's in our room, everybody walks by it all the time, but there's no way. Even for me, and my father viewed pornography when I was growing up. I saw it in my house. I've seen it before. Okay? I'm not playing games. My wife's got a password. I don't even want to touch the spam. I said, honey, would you mind looking at the emails tonight? Let me know where I can answer them. I'd just sooner do that. Now, I don't trust myself anymore. Or do you? I tell you, this deceiver, have you ever been your deceiver? This deceiver was able to do what? How deceptive is Satan? Okay. In Isaiah, how many of the angels did Satan deceive that they could beat God? How many? Remember? A third. Now understand this. I had so many kids tell me, Johnny, if I could just see God, touch God, feel God, hear God, I believe. I don't know you wouldn't. Wouldn't change your mind at all. So here's some angels who saw God face to face. They touched God. They saw His holiness. They saw His power. They knew personally the cherubim and the seraphim. They knew all about God, His holiness. They knew God personally. And still, Satan made them think they could defeat Him. This guy is deceptive, buddy. He's coming after your children, after you. Okay? Go down. Next little thing. The biggest viewers of child pornography is teenagers, not men or adults. No, it's children. Imagine when a 7-year-old who's a child pornography gets older. Rossman said this: strong, fearful, arousing, and confusing sensual images will always, look at that word, always dominate, occupy, and colonize the brain and displace cognition. There it goes again. Overpowers your ability to think rationally. You will do things you wouldn't do if you thought about it. Neither will they. Next, we got the last two real fast. Okay, the porn industry earns $57 billion in net profit. Okay, that is more money than the combined revenue of ABC, CBS, NBC, and add to that all the professional sports teams put together in 1 year. The NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL, soccer, track, all of it put together, golf, it won't even, NASCAR, all of it won't equal the money that porn makes in 1 year. They're the second largest industry in the world behind the oil industry. They're not as big as oil yet, but they will be. Because what we care about entertainment, and people do. Last one, 53% of Promise Keeper men viewed pornography last week. That's from 2003. Okay. See the paper this morning? This morning it said that in the last big Promise Keepers thing they had, that 50% of the men admitted the week they were at Promise Keepers, they viewed pornography on the hotel television. Half of them were there for Promise Keepers viewing pornography in the hotel. It is extremely powerful. I can tell you stories upon stories upon stories. Okay, we got to go to some answers. We have some answers. Pick out your sheet. We got to skip all I was going to do. We'll go right into it. That's one more week. I'm going to test you on music and if you know texting. Is not texting weird? Yeah. I'm on the bus with some kids last week. These are fifth graders. And here is some kids sitting one row behind each other, and they're texting. I'm wondering, but he's right there. Just talk to him. This is how we talk now. I'm like, wow. I'll go, oh, this is funny. Thank you. I'm wondering, it's just so strange, a different world. Okay, I gave you, it's called the Parent Curriculum, Section 3. We're going to walk through, as time lessons, the 10 things your child needs from you. Look at the top quote. Okay, yeah, everybody's got it? It's a bunch of blanks. Okay. The very top quote is from a Jewish rabbi. He says this: some of the saddest people I know are men in their 40s who tell their teenage children, I've had my priorities wrong all these years. From now on, I'll be spending less time to work and more time with you. Only to be told, gee, yeah, that's nice, but we have other plans. Number one thing your child needs from you is a heart connection. Okay? I'm walking pretty quickly, and we'll talk about some off we have time allows to. Okay, what this means is this: a deep personal relationship with you. Okay? We'll skip the rest of it. I'll cover more than a couple later on because I have a lot more to show you. Of course, in fact, one that scared me, they did a huge interview with the newest CEO of MTV, which is a lady. She's a really, really smart lady. And they asked her about MTV, and she says this: we do not influence your 14-year-olds. We own them. So we're not a purveyor of the culture. We create the culture. We tell them what to do, and they do it. I'm going, what arrogance. But you know what? You tell the truth. She really is. It's powerful. Look me in the eye. I want to create, this is the wrong one to use, create, a body of teenagers who live in this world. See, what does the Bible say? Be in the world, but not of the world. I love Christian schools. I do deeply. I love homeschoolers. You pay a price for that. To love your child homeschool, that's great. But I believe this. I wonder sometimes, are schools getting worse and worse because we're pulling out our best kids out of the public school system, putting them someplace else, and leaving the public school systems to those who aren't believers. I wonder sometimes, if I really am worried about the public schools, should I take my child out of there or run for the school board? Or be able to give it a talent program committee? You know, we got a letter that came through the school. My wife's a teacher and my son is in the Crowley area. And it said, teachers in Crowley ISD will not be allowed anymore to teach creation as a viable theory of life development. Okay? Because there are no scientific evidence for creation. You can only teach evolution. And so I said, that's wrong. That's not correct scientifically. There is no evidence for evolution. I mean, there is some, but there's just as much, if not more, for creation, for design. Okay? And so so I don't mind them dropping creation, that's fine with me, but you must drop evolution too. If you teach both of them, or neither one of them, if you're going to take that stance. And so what do? Okay. Well, I'm on the curriculum committee for Crowley. So I go to my next meeting, I bring it in, I said, hey, I just read this because my wife teaches over at Beaumont, and this is what it said. This is not true. What do you mean? So I said, hey, I'm major about the body, blah, blah, blah. And this is another, so I gave them both of them. They're equal, if not more, for creation. And I said, if you're going to drop one, you got to both of them. And they looked and went, we know you're right. Okay, forgive me. So they said, no, you need to both of them now. I thought, this is dumb. It just takes you and I knowing what we know and believe in and sharing truth in a loving, kind way. Get involved in the schools. Why are we giving it up? Why are we giving up Hollywood? Why are we giving Hollywood 2.1% of the population here? I don't understand that. But why am I telling kids, if you're going to be a Christian producer, go make Christian movies that are like what? Left Behind movie, which is terrible. Okay? I want to produce some students who use their creativity to make things like Lord of the Rings or Chronicles of Narnia. Oh, phenomenal movies with the good moral things. That's another story. So number one, a heart connection. Malachi 4:6 says that God will turn the hearts of their children back to the parents and the parents back to their children. Let's get close. If you lose the heart connection to your child, you've lost it. Okay? Rules without relationships leads to rebellion every time. Your child may obey you because you have purse strings, you're bigger than they are, you can throw them out of the house, you can beat them up, or you can spank them. So they're going to obey you because they have to. Okay? But when as soon as they get a chance to get away from you, that's all gone. Okay? That relationship you have with that child allows you to pass on values in truths and to pass on rules that they will never love, but understand because they know you. Okay? It's critical you understand that. When you lose that, you almost negate the right to pass on truths. There's an old saying I love. I heard, I forgot. I saw and I remembered. I did not understood. And that's how you learn. They hear it, talk about it. They see it modeled in you. Okay? And then they get a chance to do it themselves. That's how they learn. Okay? Go back to the truth. It's so good. Remember I told you the very first thing today. I said, discipleship occurs best in the context of what? Relationships. The better they know you and trust you, the better they're going to listen to you, which is critical. Does it mean you have to be the best friend? No. That's a mistake. Okay? Friends at times, yeah, but I'm their dad. I'm not their best friend. I think I am, but I have to be the father at times and set down some boundaries. Okay? But this heart connection is so important. We can spend a whole hour on how do we rebuild that. Okay? Let me just say here, I give these things to you. Whatever it costs you, whatever you have to do to build, to rebuild, or to keep that relationship, you do it. Remember the lady who lost 100 points in the Bible? She lost one of them. What did she do? She looked for the coin, right? How long did she look for it? Till she found it. Never stopped. I would never stop fighting for my son. If my son fell away from me and taken turned the drugs or alcohol, whatever he returned to, it would break my heart, crush me. But I'd never give up. No, I may say, son, you da 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 da. I go, Dad, I don't care. I don't want to know you. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to quit. No, that top quote. No, hey, I've been so busy. It's my fault. Please forgive me. I want to spend time with you. Can we go out? Yeah, have lunch. No, Dad, I'm busy. I'm going to ask him every week. I'm never going to stop. I want him to know that I care deeply. Listen close. No one has a better chance to do that than you. but also no one can lose that criticism. You can too. Because you know how to hurt them, and they know how to hurt you. Because they live with you. You know, with my wife, no one can hurt her more than I can. I can say certain things that I know stab in the back. It hurts so bad, and for me also. When we first got married, and she was turning to me and say something like, you know, my father always did that. Oh, that would hurt so bad. I go, well, I'm not your dad. And that's go, my mom always did that. That hurt her too. She'd go, I'm not your mom. But you learn how to fight fair. Same with the child. Okay? I will fight for that. I want that heart. There are certain tools you can use. Okay? Help me build back. Let's get close to this. One is times. Well, let me get turn over. The next little blank's called enter. We're going to go past that. Okay, turn next page over. Okay, you got a page. Mine's pages. Okay, there are 4 ways that you can begin to reveal that relationship or keep it strong. Hopefully, prayerfully, you never lose it. As your child ages, you learn how to parent your child differently. You can't parent a 13-year-old the way you do a 10-year-old. They're not the same. Their minds have changed, haven't they? Okay. See, when they move from 11 or 12 to 13, and they get what's called critical thinking skills, they see things differently. They look at things differently. You see, a child who's 7, my goodness, or 8, he's going to respond differently to me than a 13-year-old would. When I do a magic trick for a 7-year-old, they point out of their nose. What does a 7-year-old say to me when I make a coin come out of their nose? What do they say? Nothing. They never ask how you do it. Nothing ever. What do they ask? Do it again. Pull out of his nose. Pull out of the chair. They just believe I did it. They really trust me. If I say, well, here, you do it, they'll try it. They'll go, it's still there. They're shocked when it's still there. You do a trick like that for a 13-year-old, what do they do? How'd you do it? They know it's a trick. They know it. They just want to know how to do a trick. I know it's a trick. If I go to a bunch of 7-year-olds, I'm going to walk on the ceiling. They go, oh, yeah, go ahead. They just believe me. They're concrete thinkers. They believe you. But 13-year-olds, I'm walking on the ceiling. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Sure, let's see. Take your shoes off first. Now do it. See if you really can. I mean, they know you can. It's a trick trying to catch you. Their mind thinks differently. Your teenage child looks at you differently. Okay? Don't they? Completely differently. For the first time ever, they see the mistakes in your life. They see your warts. About 10 years of age, your marriage is perfect, unless it's really very bad. You think it's a great marriage. You're wonderful. What Dad says is always right. It's always correct. All of a sudden, 11, their brain changes. They realize, you know what? My dad can make mistakes. He's not always right. In fact, you know what? Maybe you're wrong a whole lot of times. And also, they struggle with that because of what they're idealistic. So they struggle with how they see you and how they want you to be. And it hurts them. And they struggle with it. They love you, but they're learning about you is hard. So you have to change how you parent them, okay? And how you love them when you do. Okay? So the thing I call 30 days for draws. And it's a way to reveal broken relationships. All it is meant to be spent 10 minutes a night, once a week, or it doesn't really matter how you do it. But you spend time together, and it gives you 2 sealed envelopes, and you ask each other questions. Each you talking and verbalizing things about life and what's important to you. It's really, my older boy is absolutely amazing. So if you need help, go to a bookstore. I think it's $20, and it's called 30 Days. It's worth getting. I have none with me at all, so you can go buy it yourself. It's worth looking at. Another book is a good tool for you to have. This is the best book I've ever read on parenting. I only get this in my copy. You can't have it. But go to the store. It's about $12. It's called Sacred Parenting by Gary Thomas. If you read one chapter of the book, you will never put it down. Ever. You will never see your child the same anymore. Okay? It's called Sacred Parenting by Gary Thomas. It's how raising children shapes your soul. We gotta go. Guys, I'm so sorry. Don't let me do this, Lord. Stop me. Okay. Ross Campbell, who's a psychiatrist, he's not a good speaker, but he's a good writer. He says that everybody has what's called an emotional fuel tank. When the fuel tank drops low, you get so lonely, you'll do anything to avoid that pain of being lonely. Okay? Here are 4 ways that you can keep your child's emotional fuel tank high and keep that relationship built or rebuilt. Number 1 is called unfailing love. Okay? It says in Proverbs 19:22, what a man desires the most is unfailing love. What this means is that you love your child unconditionally. Well, they know, listen, son, there's nothing in the world you can ever do to make me quit loving you. I may be disappointed, I may be hurt to the core, I may be weak, I may be mad at you, but I'll always love you. You can never make me quit loving you. That's really important for a person to know that. There's something going to be loved. My son is stoic, my older boy. He comes home from teaching 2nd grade. It's his 2nd year to teach. He has a boy in his class named Kevin who has a police record for child molestation in the 3rd grade. Okay, this guy comes to school in October and molested a girl in the playground. The rule of the school is, this is Parkway Elementary School in Crowley, is the principal, the teacher goes home at night, and this is the child and the parents. So my son goes in, he goes, Dad, he's weeping. My son's crying. He never cries. Never cries. He's a tetherball player, a huge guy, 6 foot something. And he walks in, and he says, Dad, walk in this room, this house. The mother comes out with Kevin, and she walks up and she goes, I don't care what you do, Kevin. Care less. Kevin's a foster child. The money I get, Kevin pays for my rent every month. When he's 18, he's out there anyway. Do what you want to do. I don't care. She walks back in the bedroom. So there's Kevin sitting there after him. And Kevin's about my son. He goes, Mr. Derouen, said, you're the only one in my life that loves me. You're the only one. And Josh said, Dad, I'm just his teacher. He's one of 22 kids in my class. I'm just a teacher. What chance do I have to be who he needs and all that? And I thought, here's a guy, he's a third grader. No wonder he does what he does. He just needs to have a place where somebody's going to love him for who he is. A place of unfailing love. Because of that, he's just lashing out at whatever he needs to do. My heart breaks. Number 2 is power here. Number 2, significance. Your team wants to really feel that I am important to somebody in this world. Somebody thinks I'm important. You tell your always my 2 choices. Me, let me tell you something. God made you special. I don't know what it is, but there's something important you will do in life. You walk with Him. You're not more than anybody else, but you are pretty important to God. God put in your DNA all that you are. It's important. I want them to know that. I want to verbalize that to them too. So these are ways you can pass on significance to your child. We spent hours here. Number 3, security. Security. It's a place of refuge, isn't it? Remember when you were growing up in high school or middle school, and you broke up with your boyfriend, broke up with you, and your heart was broken, you go home and tell your mom, so broke up. And she makes some cookies, gives you a little cookie, she always says to you what? There'll always be somebody else. And it still hurts you inside, but you feel a little better. It's just nice to go home and mom can love you. There's somebody somewhere can love you, You go someplace you belong in. They want security. Where do I go? This little Kevin guy, he has no security. I can tell you stories about what he saw this year that absolutely blow you away. None whatsoever. Oh, my heart just breaks deeply. Security. Number 4 is focused time. Focused time. Spend time with your child. Listen, don't you dare, I don't care what you read, they're wrong. Okay? Your child does not think about quality time. What do they think about? Quantity. They measure value with you as the time you spend with him. Not quality, quantity. I'll never get there. I read John Finn's book, The Blessing. There's a story there that I wasn't sure it's true, so I emailed him. I don't know you from Adam. Is this true? He goes, yes, it is. I can read where it came from. But the little boy was 7 years of age. He comes on a Saturday morning. His father is a hard worker. He's a good dad. He's a good dad. He works real hard. He's home on a Saturday morning the whole day. He's in the easy chair reading his paper. He wants to relax for a while. The little boy is standing behind him like this. Finally, the father goes, you okay? What can I do for you? And it's like, here, Dad. And drops in his lap, what's in his hands, $7.54 of $1 bills in loose change. And he goes, well, what's all this, son? He goes, Dad, this is all the money that I have. If I give all the money that I have to you, would you spend the day with me? See, this little boy, 7, knew the value of time, understood it, and knew that time to his dad was important. And it is. But he was willing to give all that he had because he knew his dad's time was valuable. I'll pay for it. That I understand. I understand that you're busy. I know. But if I give you the money, would you give me your time? I mean, he understood that when your child is yelling for focused time, now there'll come a time in the youth years, okay, well, they'll give up. They will. Okay? You know what? Here's the danger. And I'll come back to this one at a time. When you look at how youth change from 11 to 13, who else is changing too? You and I. We're doing what? Going from young adulthood to what? Old and middle age. Okay. You realize that the first time I won't get that promotion, I'll never be the CEO or even a managing partner. I'll never get there. I'll never get that giant house. I've gone from the Echo to the Corolla to the Camry to the Avalon to the Sequoia. I'm not going to make a Highlander or a Hummer. I won't get there. Okay? And all of a sudden you're changing, they're changing. You tear the rotator cuff. You tear your Achilles tendon. You see the more. I can't cut the ball anymore. You guys still can't get the ball. I can't. Okay, we're close. If you're changing, what happens is you change, they change. The way you loved doesn't work anymore. The way you parent doesn't work anymore. They're changing. The way they got love from you doesn't work anymore. Okay? So they do what? They pull away from the emotion, and you pull away. You still love them. You still support them. They still love you, but they pull away emotionally. Who's there to grab them? Peers, culture, media. Others are more than willing to step in and be who you should have been in their lives. Okay? Okay, my watch says we got 5 minutes left. Yeah, right, 5 minutes? Okay, we're gonna end. Let me just give you some blanks and we'll stop. Okay, I'm gonna skip over some things. Look at number 2. Role model life for your teenager. Role model life for your teenager. Life, L-I-F-E. You are the living video for your child. They are watching you more than you ever know. Role model life. I gave you some blanks after that. Let me get to you real quick. Here's some things for your role model for them. One is a Bible marriage. Show them how you love your spouse. If you're single, role model for them how to be single yet fulfill Jesus Christ in yourself. Okay? Show them how you treat a spouse. This is going to shock you. Okay? You guys go to this. Here's some research. Blows me away. I'm an artist. They say this, that if you want to know how a man is going to treat your daughter when he marries her, if you're real serious, you watch how that man treats his opposite sex parent. It's an 87% success rate on how they will treat your child. How the girl will treat her, your son, they marry you. Watch how she treats her opposite sex parent. It's how she will treat you. Now, I know there are exceptions, but it's an 87% success rate at how they will treat you every time. Show them. They said this is going to blow you away. That for a daughter, if the father, her father, treats her mother with lack of respect, any kind of emotional, verbal abuse at all, or lack of respect for the mother, that most daughters will grow up not valuing their femininity. They will say, well, look, here's the man that I love the most in my life. And here is a woman like I am, my mother. If the man I love the most treats her that way, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be a woman, because I'll be treated the same way. And I'm not saying she'll be a lesbian, although that is a higher, I think 70% become lesbians. They will not value their femininity at all. If that father treats the mother with respect, values her, loves her deeply, then the girl goes, the man that I love the most treats the woman I love the most with that respect. It must be something special to be a woman. I'm so glad I am a woman, and she will value her femininity, and she usually will not accept treatment from any other boy in any way that way. Okay? So role model that. I can tell you, I can go forever on Richard, this is blow you away, but it's critical that you're role modeling marriage for them. How you, next little thing, role model conflict resolution. Okay, how do you fight? You're going to fight. Show them how you fight fairly when you love somebody. Okay, next little bullet, role model life and what matters. Role model life and what matters. Okay, show them what really matters in life. How you, most of them watch how you spend your time and your money will tell them what you value in life the most. So I want them to see what really is important. Be careful here. Okay, next little bullet, role model a fresh walk with God. A fresh walk with God. Let them see how my dad and my mom, who are adults, walk with God. If not, they're going to think that walking with God is only good if you're at youth. Once you pass 18, you graduate past that lifestyle, and you go on to other things, which is scary. Okay, number 3, the third thing is pray for them. Pray for them. I gave you a prayer guide to use yourself. Okay, it just shows you how you pray for one characteristic of your child every day of their life for each month, and you repeat it. It's 30 characteristics. Okay, 2 minutes left. Let's do it. Number 4. Give them structure and grace. Structure and grace. There are a lot of blanks below this one, but I'm not going to give them to you, so time's sake. What I mean here is structure means boundaries. Grace is your response to them after they fail. Question to ask you. If we are to parent our children the way that God parents us, right? Does God give us boundaries in His Word? Yeah. What happens if you and I cross those boundaries? If we disobey God, what does God do? Doesn't kill it. Didn't go, next. Never. But there are consequences. He disciplines us, doesn't he? It can be quite painful at times. But does His love change for you? No. You need to do the same thing. You set boundaries. You give them clear boundaries with consequences. When they cross those boundaries, you give the consequences. Okay? But you always say, but I still love you. If you have time, I'll come back one day and give you, I'll fill the lesson here for you, but I'll say this to you about boundaries. Don't you dare compromise. When you set a boundary, think about it first. When you set it, let's say it's a 2-week rounding. They've been great for 1 week. Dad, can I go out this weekend? Son, you have been great. I'm real proud of you. But you have 7 days left. Okay? What's the danger of letting up the boundaries too soon? What are you teaching them? There's always a way to escape, isn't there? And there isn't. Ask some of your bosses who fired you. There isn't. Well, hey, son, This is the consequence. You knew it ahead of time before you did this. I love you, and I'm proud of you, but you got 7 more days. Okay? We spent hours on that. Let's go on. Number 5. Learn to listen. Learn to listen. Learn to let your children talk, and be careful before you interject answers or too quickly. Okay? What's funny about you is that they usually ask you a question at the most inopportune moment for you. Right? You're almost to school, and they ask you a question. Or it's midnight, you're dead tired, you're almost asleep at the top of your bed. Hey Mom, what about this? Why do they do that? You know why? Seriously? Because if you respond the wrong way, they have a way out. Oh, gotta go to school, thank you. Anyway. Oh, you're tired. No, you're tired. They ask you weird things. They want to make sure if you respond poorly, they have a way of escape. So be careful before you answer. Let them talk. And letting them talk, they learn that you be careful what they say. You learn to listen. You learn so much from me, and it's phenomenal. We spent hours here. Okay, the last 4 I'm going to give them to you. Number 6, be a student of your teenager's world and their own constructive interests. Their world and their constructive interests. Learn your child, study them, watch what they enjoy doing. Learn to match their gifts and their passions together. Be a student of their world. I wasn't good with my first son. I really wasn't. You know, I geared him towards athletics. But he's a big guy, he's a good athlete, but his real love is art. And he's a great school teacher. With early childhood, ooh, they drive me crazy. Okay? My younger son, I'm more open to learning what he enjoys doing and working with him in those areas, which is important. That's your job. We gotta go on. Number 7, humor and laughter. Learn to laugh with your child. Humor and laughter. Just find ways to make them like hide marbles in the medicine cabinets when they open it all fall out. I did this my child time when he was sick one day. I wrote a little note and I didn't see it. It said, "Dear da 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 da, please what do you use? Please." My son was out of school yesterday. This excuse to ask him to school. He was busy delivering a shipment of illegal drugs to Colombia. Signed his dad. Put his little backpack and he just died laughing. Number 8, give your child your blessing. Give your child your blessing, and I gave you there 4 ways to do it. You can read yourself. That's really important. That your children, in fact, some of you in this room, you're adults, and you still long for your mom to say, you know, you're a good daughter. I love you, Mary. I love your son, your job. I'm proud of you. You live for that, and you still never heard it. Don't let your child beg for it. Remember the true story about the gum machine ball? You put a quarter in that gum machine, and you want a gum ball. And instead, you put a quarter in the gumball machine, and you get no gumball. And so when your child, they want from you a blessing. This is how to do one. And back on laughter, when your child turns 18 and you leave your home, all you're going to have left is the relationship that you built. The last one, number 9, is teach or pass on biblical truths and values. Teach or pass on biblical truths and values. Teach or pass on biblical truths and values. At the bottom of that page, I gave it out for you. There's some bullets. These are some things I feel like your child should know before they turn 18 and they graduate. Either you teach them or find somebody who can. Okay? It's critical that they understand these issues of life before they leave school. One last thing before we close is this. For example, there, should a girl turning 18 leaving high school at Tier Review or Summit or just a school lab, should she know how to change a flat tire before she goes to college? So when she's driving home one day from A&M, and it's caught somewhere there around Calvert, okay, and it's 3 in the morning, and her cell phone battery's dead, it's a flat tire, what is she going to do? Walk 15 miles to another town, try to find one, and I thought it was kind of calls for towns. No, I don't know how. Here's how you change a flat tire. Think, what should my child know spiritually, financially, physically, before they graduate high school? Let me ask you closely, we gotta go. Take your time. I want you to understand one thing. You are the most important influencer in the life of your child. When your child graduates, you're responsible to pass on the truth. If you want help on that, and you want to be free, go on your computer, and I put it down there in your notes. Go to lifeway.com, click on what's called Heart Connect with an X, Heart Connect. It will give you at no charge to you 6 years of passing on biblical truth to your children. At 1 truth a week takes you 10 minutes. So you tell your child, hey honey, you know, you're going to be gone here in 5 years, 3 years, 4 years, 2 years. Would you mind if just once a week we can spend maybe 15 minutes together? I can pass on to you what's really important. It would mean so much to me. Oh yeah, okay, go ahead, Dad. And it tells you how to do it. And then at the end of your youth years with your child, they'll have a little notebook that you, and these are all the truths my dad and my mom taught me in my youth. Sorry, I told you stories. I'm so sorry.
Thank you very much.
on team. Wait, Ron, I'm gonna take y'all to, out to Orlando, whoever wins the game.
Oh.
So,
Okay, so I made more copies, so if you were missing anything, if you'll just go back to the ping pong table on the way out and grab whatever you're missing. Also, they've already kind of cleaned up this room for tomorrow morning, so if you will just pick up after yourself, and if you have some pen or pencil, we will clean that stuff up, but just take your trash with you and put it in the trash can, and that would be very, very helpful. Okay, so we are, the next one we're raffling for is another free drink from the Common Grounds.
448708. 448708.
Do you have Eric's? Do you have an Eric's? Okay, Travis.
That's right.
that's all I do.
448690.
Okay, Mary.
Only for Mary.
Okay, the next one is, this is cotton flower, this is Woodwick. You just put the reeds in there and it smells really good.